6:30.
Got all your signatures?
Those of you that care to, please stand. Join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Call to order July 30th, 2024. Regular City Council meeting. Roll call, please.
Brown.
Here.
Henson.
Here.
Martin. Here. Meyer.
Here.
Mosley.
Here.
O'Rourke.
Here.
Turner.
Here.
Rodell. Absent.
Quorum. All right. Number one, approval of June 25th, 2024 council meeting minutes.
Mr. Mayor, I was pointed out that there's a mistake on page 1 on the word business, so that will be changed and corrected.
Any other changes? If not, I entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor? All right, we got a director's report. Parks Director Keith Cox. Keith?
Good evening. I'd like to first thank the mayor for allowing me to come and present to you guys tonight for Parks and Recreation Month. It was this month in July. Just a heads up, I did this presentation with Parks Committee a few weeks ago and it took over half an hour, so I'm going to go very quickly. So if I rush through something, just hold on to questions. I'll be happy to answer them at the end. And I can also send you my presentation afterwards too, if you want to see that as well. But in consideration of everyone's time, I'm going to go through it pretty fast. So this is a report from January of June, so the first 6 months of this year. I'm going to start out talking about a few of the capital projects that we've done. First, the master plan, obviously that doesn't really need any more introduction. 2 years in the making. We're very excited for our 20-year master plan for the first time in our Parks Department's history to have a roadmap for us moving forward for the plan that you guys adopted in April. Some other projects that we've done during this time, priority for us moving forward right now is taking care of what we have, and so we've really put a focus on capital maintenance projects of current facilities. Very large one being the roof repair that we did on the Aquatic Center. We're very fortunate to have a retractable roof aquatic center that gives us that outside field. Unfortunately, for almost 10 years now, it has not functioned properly as we had panels that did not open all the way. So this summer, the first one in almost a decade where we can open our roof entirely. And so it's been really nice to have that amenity, but also just the difference that it makes as far as the climate within the facility, and I'll kind of talk on that a little bit later as far as some of the things moving forward. A complex backstop netting, the A complex, which is the 3 fields that are closest to Boone Road, that netting that was on there through last season was the original backstop netting from when the park was built. If you remember, we had to replace the rest of the baseball and softball fields, I think in 2017. That netting was not reinforced in the original construction, and so we replaced all the other fields years ago. The A complex, which was reinforced in the original construction, that lasted many years past that, but it was just time to do that. And so at this time, all the backstop netting throughout the complex, has the reinforced netting, and so we expect, to have 10 or 15 years more before we should start to see that wear again. Drainage upgrade behind the center. Anyone who's been involved with our basketball league has seen we've had issues with our wood floor the last few years because of moisture that's getting up underneath the courts. We had multiple different things we've tried over the years to try to solve that, different people coming in. I credit Ted Taylor, at the time he was our city engineer, but now community development director, really investigating this and looking into it and seeing that part of our issue was all of the water that was storing behind the facility, and decide, we need to upgrade some of our drainage there, the gutters, the downspouts, some French drains added. So as you can see, that is this spring where we had a very wet spring, and it's no longer storing water back there. We've even got some grass growing back there now, and fortunately so far we have not seen those same issues with our wood floor, so hopefully that's going to solve that issue. And then pump house, new pump house on our splash pad controls there. It was a structure that had been built years ago that was falling in, the roof was falling in, so we went back with a metal structure there. And I think price-wise, technically this doesn't qualify as a capital project, but it was still something that was needed that we did this spring, and also put a wall on the side there because the afternoon sun was really affecting our controllers there and fading it out where it was hard for us to see. So we should be covered for many years to come now as far as having those controllers there protected. And last but not least, the Mills Pool resurfacing. We got that done back before opening this year. The plastering of the pool takes about 10 years or so that we have to do that. And then also I'll be coming back and discussing protecting that investment as well with a cover for that pool also going forward. So next, performance measures. You see these in your budget book every year. These are just some things that we are measured on to see how we're doing and stacking up year over year. First thing, youth sports programming participants, whether that be our own internal programs or other programs that local community groups are running that we just offer support for. Swim lessons and aquatics training that we provide, and then youth sports events that we host at Bishop Park. First, youth sports, youth programming participants for internal programming. So you can see there, I'm not going to, I know that you can read it for yourself as far as the programs that we currently offer internally. I'll also touch on that later on as far as going forward. And then on the right side, you can see year over year the number of participants that we have in those programs. Please, as we go through this, keep in mind that 2024, this is only the first half of the year, so that's not a final number for 2024. The 2021, internally, our COVID number was 2021 because, or a big part of it was 2021 because basketball is our largest program, and our basketball league in 2020 actually completed a week before the COVID outbreak. So we did not, our basketball in 2020 wasn't affected, it was actually 2021 that we were affected. So that's why you see that number dip there. But the biggest thing that you'll see as I go through these is the numbers as we came out of COVID. So you can see that in 2022, not only did we come back, but we came back much larger than we did before. And our center superintendent, Ebony Scott, deserves a lot of credit for that. That's as she took over the basketball program and has done a wonderful job with it, and you've seen it continue to grow. But yes, I mean, we saw that after COVID, a lot of people wanting to get back out and participate again. So next up, external program. These are the local groups that we offer support for that are providing programming for our community. And same thing, obviously their COVID effect was in 2020, but you also see that for them as well, coming back out of that, much larger numbers. And some of that is we've expanded program as well. We now have a lacrosse organization that you'll see on the agenda later on. But yeah, same thing. There's people that are wanting to participate and are choosing to participate in Bryant. And then 2024, I mean, that's halfway through the year, but you can see we're still on pace to reach that number again. And I know that soccer, for instance, which is a very large partner of ours, their fall program is their larger program. So, swim lessons and training that we provide. Obviously, a large part of our department and something we really focus on is our aquatics division. And so I give Kristen Robinson a ton of credit for this. I mean, obviously, a lot of this programming is either provided by her or by someone that she has trained to be able to do it. So we're very lucky to have her. But as you can see as well, just those numbers are growing substantially year over year as far as the training that we're providing. And you know, I'll mention that just the very last thing there, the aquatics facility operator, that's a National Recreation and Parks Association certification that we are the only city in the state that is providing that. And I actually got recertified in February, and we had Jonesboro in the room, we had Bentonville in the room, so people were coming from around the state for Kristen to train them on that. And so, like I said, that's something that it's really a feather in our cap as a department to be able to do that as well. So, and then last, youth sports event at Bishop Park. I know whenever I started 8 years ago, this was something that was immediately brought to my attention, was the importance of getting, filling up a youth sports events calendar. Unlike the other ones, you'll see that this is kind of balanced out a little bit there. I don't have numbers. I didn't start keeping up with these numbers until 2019. I wish I had 2016 because I can tell you it grew from that point. By 2019, we'd already kind of hit our stride, but to be honest with you, this is over the course of really 8 months because November through February we don't host any events, but outside it's too cold and the weather doesn't allow us to, and inside we're running our own internal programming. And so outside of a few swim meets, you know, we're really not hosting the other events at that time. And, you know, around 50 is really the sweet spot. Our parking lot can't withstand any more than that. We really can only do about 2 events a weekend, otherwise there's nowhere for people to park. And so, although the numbers aren't really growing, we've kind of found our stride there. I do think the quality of our events have come up. I know when I started in 2016, we could not get a baseball tournament to play in Bryant. And now we have multiple different agencies wanting to, that we're having to, you know, make decisions on who is going to get the complex. And as much as I'd like to take the credit for that, you know, a big part of that is our crew. Our grounds crew's done an amazing job. I know that when I started, you know, we couldn't get anyone to play. They say, oh, well, if it rains, then Bryant's not going to play. You know, and Bryant floods. And so, and even in 2017, we had a flood that closed our park for 6 months. And so we've now come to a time when multiple cases where we flooded and then we played the next day. And so I'm going to show a video here. This was actually done in 2023, but just showing the transformation and the job our crew and where we've come as a crew and as a department and what we're doing to make these events happen. So. Yeah, so like I said, that was actually last year. We had a flood that came in on Friday morning. The crew went to work, and we started on time at 8 a.m. Saturday after that. So that's a long ways that we've come there. I felt like that was probably going to be the best thing that I could show. Unfortunately, I didn't get video of the last, but this year they took it a step further because Memorial Day weekend, we had so much rain that week that actually our two nearest parks that also host tournaments canceled their events on Friday. We stayed the course. We felt like we were going to be okay, and then Friday night we got, I think, 4 or 5 inches of rain Friday night as well. And so when the sun came up that Saturday morning, we were underwater. And we did not start on time that day because we were still underwater at 8 o'clock, but we did start playing at noon that day. And on a weekend when Benton and North Little Rock both canceled their events, we still went off and played our events. So the reputation is changing. I have a colleague from a large city in the state that told me, a few months ago that it's understood now that Bryan has the best natural fields in the state, and so it's a credit to Matt and that crew and the job that they've done of how far they've taken us to put us in this position. And so, like I said, I'd like to take credit, but it's really easy whenever I have a crew that makes us look that good, and so we've really come a long way on that. Okay, there we go. On that note, big thing that we talk about a lot are visitors. And so we now have a Placer AI software that uses data to track the number of visitors that we have in our park system. And so, so far this year, or in the first 6 months this year, we had 432,400 park visits. That averages out to almost 2,400 a day. You can see the pie chart on the right there. Obviously, the big blue one is Bishop. Followed by Mills and then Midland. Our busiest day of the year in the first half was June 8th. I knew that before I ran the numbers. That was one of rare case where we hosted 3 different events at Bishop that day. And so I knew that we were going to have a big traffic as long as, and a beautiful day, Mills is going to be packed as well. So our slowest day was January 18th. We had less than 100. Anything smaller than 100 is not going to give you an accurate number. But I looked it back up, and we were actually inclement weather at that time. So I think we had an ice storm going on January 18th. Out of those 432,000, that's almost 130,000 of unique visitors that are coming into our park system. And then I just kind of ran it down that outside of, for Bishop Park, that's almost 56% outside of Saline County that are coming into Bishop Park. And then Mills is not actually the smallest number. Spring Hill is. Spring Hill Park's not getting a lot of visitors from outside of Saline County, but Mills is kind of the other end of that. It's more of our family park and our residents that are using it, and you can see the difference as far as, Mills has a lot more locals that are coming there as well. I don't have numbers for Devswood, Kings Crossing, or Plum because they don't have enough traffic for it to register enough for there. So, a couple of questions. I went through this with Parks Committee. Just to answer them to yourself, because Jack's going to yell them out loud anyway since he's already seen this. But just a little quiz here. Which park has seen the largest increase in visitors year over year from 2023 to 2024? And that is Mills Park, 47% increase. I feel like our tennis and pickleball courts, as well as our upgraded playground, there's probably made a big difference in that. Alcoa actually is not that far behind. Alcoa is almost 40% year over year increase. And as the trails come through there, I think we're going to see that continue to grow along with lacrosse running their program out there as well. Residents from how many different states have visited a Bryant Park in 2024? This one was way larger than I thought it would be. 38 states that have visited. The closest that hasn't was West Virginia. So if anyone knows somebody in West Virginia, have them come out and visit. Which state outside, other than Arkansas, had the most visitors? It was Texas. A lot of visitors from Texas. Texas is very large and also close to it. And then Yarden, I think I made this one up, but where did our furthest visitors come from? Also, this is not worldwide, this is just nationwide, so it is in the U.S.
Alaska.
more specifically, North Pole, Alaska is actually a place. So,
Santa Claus
and
came
well,
and-
but this was January through June. So he's doing a recon, I guess. But it wouldn't have been Christmas. So yeah. And then what's next for us? So capital projects, we actually have for the Alcoa Mills Connector Trail, Hilldale Midland Connector Trail, and the Bishop Hart Lighting, we have grants out currently for that. And so those are things that we've been talking about as far as implementing our master plan moving forward. And then I talked about it a little bit earlier. I actually spoke to Mark White with Batson, who's doing our aquatic study earlier today. There's on track to have us that study completed in August. So I'll be bringing that to you, which will show some options to cool the aquatic facility. I do think that the roof and the doors being able to open fully have made a big difference as far as getting some airflow in there this year. But obviously there's more things that we would like to do there to try to cool that facility in the summer. And so they're going to have that for us next month, hopefully. And also with that, some hard numbers as far as what we can expect for a pool pack replacement, because we've talked about it a lot, but that our pool pack is on its, I don't know if I would even call it its last leg anymore. But we're going to need that replaced very, very soon so that we can still operate our facility year-round. And then also internally, some programming expansion. We have hired an internal programmer, so for the first time in 4 years, I believe, we'll have a programmer on staff. So we're excited about some of the things that he has in store for us, that we can try to expand some of our internal programming that we're doing. Also, you'll see later on your agenda that we have a use agreement for lacrosse, which has been a great example of a community partner that has not only running a great program there, but also investing back in the park and some of the plans that they have to assist us with our master plan and getting Alcoa 40 Park, some of the renovations and upgrades there that we want. And then also we're working with the Impact One Foundation as far as trying to offer some financial assistance for our programming as well for some individuals that aren't able to pay for all of our programming. So last thing I'll leave you, I don't know if you follow the We Are Bryant social media, but for the month they've been doing a great job of putting out different videos and promoting things going on in our department. And so I will leave you with just a little preview of kind of some of that content that Carson has put together. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask, or like I said, I can send all this to you as well. So.
Gone from one park at Ashland, all the different little pocket parks we got, Midland Park, the old park.
This place is so well run. I mean, Kristen and the people that work here, it's just, everything is just so nice, and everybody is hospitable and easy to get along with.
The doctor told me that the best thing I could do was be in as good a shape as I could be before the surgery or the transplant. We come here and dance together. If I can put in my mind that it's not really exercise and that it's just a dance class, then I can't wait to come. We work with Bryant Youth Association, Bryant Softball, the Bryant Athletic Association lacrosse. I do have a passion for keeping people safe, and I know that the training the lifeguards get and save lives.
Whether that be the Bryant Athletic Association or the Senior Center or the soccer group, all the different partnerships that we work with, and we're so grateful for those groups. The community is invested in it, rather than it just being the Parks Department putting it on and hoping that the community follows. So it's a collaborative effort with everyone. I got it 20 minutes.
Anybody got any questions for Keith? Very good presentation, thanks for that.
Thank y'all.
All right, public comments. Please come forward, sign on the podium. Just tell us your name and address.
My name is Rick Wood, 389 Old Lake Wood Road.
here tonight with just a couple questions about annexing Midland Estates. That property was my great-grandparents'. It's been in the family since late 1800s. So why the urge to annex that? My first question. Second question, I understand that from the estate, Midland Estates, they're wanting to go north, down Midland, and which would be on my road 389. So I'm here for some answers. A line, a piece of property that's been rural since 1800s. It's so urgent to be annexed into Bryan. Any answers? Is it Bryan or is it the developer wanting the annexation?
When that comes up for the second reading, we can deal with those questions.
Well, surely somebody knows something. Isn't it the second reading?
Yes, sir.
And we have no answer?
Well, this is public comments. I
Right.
mean, I've got your questions down here, so when we're dealing with that issue on the agenda, we'll deal with those questions.
Okay. Well, secondly, as far as emergencies, or the vehicles, will it be Bryan? Will it be the sheriff of Swain County? Who's going to show up? I've got a elderly mom that lives right there. One thing that separates them Roush cardboard homes you're putting, 190, between my property and them is the barbed wire fence. So now I sit on my front porch and I see hundreds of cars go down Midland. Now they want to put 190 homes, one way in, one way out. They don't have a way out. So my question is, you can't get out of Midland Road now, what are you going to do with 190 Cracker Box homes there? With the soccer field that's backed up when they have soccer games? In the morning, you're late if you don't leave an hour early. Now you want 190 homes going down Midland. So they're wanting to move up a 300 foot north of that. So my question is, next reading, please have some answers.
So your questions are why the urgency and traffic and emergency
Yes,
services?
yes,
Those are three?
yes.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Mr. Wood, did you sign in? Thank you.
I don't like talking in front of people, I'm just going to say that right now. So hopefully my nerves won't get the best of me. I have to have mine written down. My name is Tricia Wood. I live at 389 LMA Wood Road. And I'm here tonight to ask y'all to not approve this proposed annexation for the area of Midland Estates and Roush Coleman Homes on Midland Road. This process began over 13 months ago, and I believe it deserves a more thorough examination due to several critical concerns that we have. The approval for the subdivision plat, now branded as Midland Estates, was granted during a meeting right here by the City Planning Board that lasted less than 15 minutes, and you can watch it on YouTube. Thank you. And Jonathan Hope received deviations from the master street plan and fast-tracked this plat approval with contingencies that enabled a real estate commission to his wife on a selling price of $975,000. All without obtaining vital information prior to approval on drainage, traffic management, which my husband just spoke to, and adequately notifying affected neighbors like myself. The City Planning Board and the DRC have failed to communicate effectively with the neighboring residents. This comes back and comes across to the residents as a lack of proactive measures. To ensure the safety and thriving community in compliance with governmental laws, I urge you to please avoid making the same mistakes. They mentioned during their conversations that thinking of the future of Bryant, you know, there were a lot of things that were brought up during that video that I think that have been failed, and we have all been failed by. The area that is proposed for annexation, which includes these Roush Coleman homes, does not enhance the city of Bryant. And there's several reasons. I have 7. Hopefully I don't run out of time. It's a negative reputation. It is, as of July this year, 2024, Roush Coleman Homes are rated 1.4 out of 5 on a Yelp scale. And that's based off of 26 reviews. That means that people don't like them. They're dissatisfied customers. I don't think Bryant wants to have a negative reputation. Risk of devaluation. Roush Coleman Homes are viewed as low-end mass builders, and they're promoted as fast and cheap, promoting as a fast and cheap approach that could attract undesirable elements in our community. My husband spoke to that just a minute ago. We had people on our property last week that were coming over to steal stuff out of our garage. Rush process. Which I need a rush. The initiation of this project has been characterized as a rush process. It's led to lawsuits, disgruntled residents, frequent breaches of permits and regulations, and this behavior by the developer, engineer, planning committees, and judge raises concerns about the integrity of this planning process to me. Lack of infrastructure. I think my husband talked about that. And if I can, I would like to please continue if I can. I only have just a little bit more to read. Let's see, he talked about the congestion on Midland Road, and we got to hear about the parks on Midland Road, and so we all know that this is a growing area. The traffic is exasperated by the RVs and the trailers that go by to Carter's. Constantly, we can sit on our front porch and watch it. And if we're going to put 190 plus homes over there, there's no way, if you go and actually walk that property, you're not going to be able to get in and out. Community resistance, that's why I'm here. So this proposed annexation involves nearly 46 acres bordering all on rural properties, which could significantly impact all of us current residents, including myself and my elderly mother-in-law who is living in front. There's also concern about how this annexation is going to complicate addresses and emergency response, since about 300 feet past the development line, they want to extend the annexation in front of our property and hers, which her address is 3021 Midland Road. This annexation picks her up. It goes all the way down to Ola May. Why? That's what my husband is wanting to know the answers to. Who's going to pay the taxes? Does that impact her taxes? Does that impact, what does she get out of that, and what happens, and what do we get out of that? We live directly behind. Impact of vulnerable communities. There are some individuals that are impacted by this that are Latino and Mexican. These communities, I know for sure because I have talked to them, they feel pressured to support this proposal due to job security fears. That is not right. They also don't have the knowledge or the means to oppose an annexation. They don't know how to come in and do this. I didn't even know how to come in and do this until I was forced to. Environmental concerns, we all know flooding. Flooding is a primary online concern regarding Roush Coleman Homes, and we're going to put them in Bryant where we have a lot of flooding already. That makes a lot of sense. And for the last 13 months, you should see what we have had to deal with flooding and poor development. In light of these issues, I really urge you and ask you to please take a second, third, fourth, fifth look at this and really listen to what the residents are saying, because I don't think you've been given the full truth. And we're the ones that are going to have to live with the decisions that you guys make tonight. So please listen to us and consider it in the thoughtful decision that you'll make. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
council members. It's good to see you again. I appreciate the opportunity. So I'm going to try and focus this.
Your name?
Oh, sorry, Richard Jacuzzi, 1901 Midland Road. I live around the corner from the woods. I'm going to take what little time I have, I think, and try and follow up on just one item that Trish talked about. And that's going to kind of fall under public safety. Specifically, her comments on lack of infrastructure. This project, when it was approved preliminary by the Planning Commission, and we have a packet that we're putting together for you guys that you'll have within the next week or two that has all the information that we have and the arguments that we have against this project. One of those things will be a link to a YouTube video that we have that we narrowed it down just for you guys, just for the section of that Planning Commission meeting that had the discussion on this proposal. And you'll see when you watch that, a lot of debate over public safety on whether or not Willow Street, which is the secondary entrance, can support the amount of traffic that this neighborhood is going to generate from it. You know, and they spoke about Midland Road, and it's true, traffic is an issue on it in the mornings, in the afternoons, soccer games, but it pales in comparison to the issue that would be created back on Willow. And I'll point out just a couple of the things that you'll see in that meeting when you watch it. You'll hear Mr. Hope specifically refer to that street in his own words as a terrible road, and it is a terrible road. I would encourage you before the third reading of this to drive Willow Street and just imagine 800 to 1,000 cars per day cutting through that small neighborhood trying to reach the parkway, because that's what Truett and everyone acknowledge will happen. Sure, Midland is going to be the primary entrance, but it's already so backed up that most of that traffic is going to cut through the neighborhood to hit the parkway. You're all aware we've got pending litigation on that issue on whether or not they can even use those lots, because there's a bill of assurance on that in that subdivision because it's applied to subdivision. You'll hear Rick Johnson, who did drive that road, talk about in that meeting that when he was driving down it, he had to nearly pull off into the ditch to allow another car to get by. So issues were brought up in that meeting about whether emergency services can access it, and I can tell you that fire engines cannot get down there. Buses, it's an issue in the mornings. We'll have some residents from there that will be speaking next month that can address some of the things specifically. But I just wanted to focus on that one thing. I know that access, and you are going to, if you haven't already yet, you're going to get a request sometime in the next number of days from Mr. Havens or Hope One to give a waiver, yet another waiver, and you'll see several waivers that they're asking for in that meeting to make this purely an emergency interest, to gate it up so the traffic can go in and out. And I would just urge you, that's going to create an even larger public safety issue than we've already got with it. And it's not really a viable option for that project. And again, I hope that you would vote against it, but I would hope instead that maybe somebody can speak some wisdom to Mr. Havens and ask him to, at least for now, temporarily pull this like he did with the PUD. When they tried to bring the PUD up, we objected and they withdrew that. And I think we're at the point right now where this one should be withdrawn until we can at least all have some debate and discussion on it. Thank you, Richard.
Hey guys, just want to talk about we got hit with our first big rainstorm, luckily. It was during the dry season, right after the city comes out and cleans out behind Oak Glen, or inside the Oak Glen side. And since the rainstorm, the creek is already back to being blocked up on each side. There is that culvert that was blown out of and made a channel down the middle is back to being blocked up. So, you know, it was really disheartening when you have 5 huge excavators sitting right there and, you know, told, hey, we're going to try to help, and had the biggest chance in the world, had all the equipment, had all the manpower in the world, and we just worried on one side. And I understand it's POA. Roush Coleman screwed us. I mean, we're in this huge whole mess because, you know, not understanding, you know, what a POA lies into, and, you know, getting into this whole thing. You know, once Roush Coleman signed those documents and everything else, it was cut and bait, and now it's all on us. Which I feel bad for these people, because if Roush Coleman does the exact same thing, and not even that you guys allow the exact same thing, I just feel bad for them. The thing is our creek is already backed up again. I mean, that culvert's backed up. The other question is, your guys are building a fence on Oak Glen side, but on the crossing side, there's nothing being done, even though it's technically still Oak Glen side. So trying to figure out what the holdup or what you guys are doing or planning on that, because I know fences are still up on our property, but yet y'all are telling us it's now our issue to deal on our side, which I'm kind of confused, because from our side there's nothing else for us to do. So just trying to figure out what you guys are doing. I know you have me blocked, and that's cool. Trying to figure out, you know, somebody to tell us what's going on, because, you know, it's, I mean, from the workers that they were there, they were told they can't tell us anything that was going on, and that, you know, to just talk to the mayor. But, you know, we're just trying to figure out what's going on, because, you know, the solution didn't get fixed. I know you say that there's another plan down the road, and the master drainage plan and all this other stuff. But, you know, we got lucky. If it would have rained for another 30 minutes, as hard as it was, we would have had 4 houses go under water. And I know that doesn't mean a lot, but, you know, it sucks for us, and it sucks for John Bledsoe and the acres and everybody else that lives right next to this creek that was left in hindsight because of Roush Coleman, you know, and now we're sitting here dealing with it. So just try to get answers, and any answers that are actually going to come our way. Thank you,
Joseph? Other public comments? So none. On the old business, this is ordinance 2024-10, Midland Estates subdivision annexation, second reading. An ordinance to annex certain territory into the municipal boundaries of the city of Bryant. Need a motion to suspend the rules and read second reading by title only.
Is there going to be answers to the questions that are posed?
Yes. We'll work, yes, we'll
Boy, do I know when to return to a job. So I'm the new city planner, and so I will try to address these as much as I can. I do know that this was submitted as a plan to our DRC. It was legally submitted. It was legally submitted to the Planning Commission. They legally approved it. And so if we try to venture off of that, we also open ourselves to legal accusations from the developer as well. So I will say that. So if there's any other questions, I can try to answer them, but I am a little bit on the behind. So
yeah, that's why we just, we'll come back with some answers. Need a little time to prepare for that before the third reading.
okay.
Questions they brought up tonight.
I will say, you know, this is part of our growth plan. I hear concerns about public safety, and one of the benefits is we will be taking care of that public safety. It will be policed by our police. The fire department will provide fire protection service for that. So, there will be means for improved safety in the area. You guys have any other questions, we can try to answer them now.
So whether we annex this or not, the development's already approved, is what I'm hearing you say, right?
It's approved as it is on the planning commission.
Yes.
I make a motion to table second reading till next month and until you have time to prepare answers to the questions that have been
Sure.
put forth tonight.
Who was the second?
So motion is second to table the second reading until next month. We will come back with specifically the benefits to the city of Bryant for annexation, since development is already underway. Question is, why annex it? And public safety concerns and traffic concerns. Is that fair? So,
I just want to point out, I believe that if you table this, you have to start all over again. Just so you know that.
that's fine.
Start all over as in first reading?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine. I don't think we're in any hurry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mayor, question on that.
Yes, sir. Well, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Are we done?
No, we
Regardless,
had voted.
could we, because what Ted said was kind of interesting to me as far as opening up the legalities. I'd like to hear what Ashley says with regards to that. So if she could be here next meeting or have something in writing to kind of let us know. Also too, I'd like to hear from the fire department on the ins and outs of going on that, that road. And like, you know, that's kind of, I've been down that road a time or two. It is kind of skinny.
It's
I'm
very
just
hard to
curious
get out of Midland
just
on
curious
the
what
Highway
the-
5. I know there's been
getting-
several wrecks.
Getting the big body down there and saving some lives, like what's the, you know, I'd like to, so, do a field trip or something.
Sure.
So.
Can I go?
Anything else? I just want to make sure we've got all these down so we're prepared. How it benefits the city, traffic concerns, emergency service, specifically fire, and then any legal issues. Just on the question of annexation, not the fact that it's already in development, just the annexation question. Motion, do we vote?
Need a vote.
All right, we need to vote. All right, all in favor of tabling this second reading and bringing it back next month and starting over? Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, new business, finance. Joy Black, our financial report.
Before I start with the things that are on the agenda, I did want to point out that you have in front of you an updated copy of the 2023 audit report, and we have hopes to upload that with PFOA submission tomorrow. There were not any major changes from when it was brought and presented to you guys last month. The one or two changes, I asked if we could do a $4,311 adjustment to the enterprise side from some conversion things, and they said yes. And then there was a issue with a negative sign on the actuarial report for APRS that needed to be corrected, so we corrected those two. So I'm trying to think if there was anything else in the last 30 days. Lots of little small things, but if you would like to, you know, go through and read it, and of course ask me any questions I know later, because it's a pretty big document to get through. So I think it looks really good, and my team has worked really hard on it this year. So I encourage you to read it and provide any and all feedback. We would love that. And then also, this is the first time we're going to submit also our popular annual financial report, which has been up on the website for the last 30 days too, but
it mirrors the audit report. So we did have a couple little adjustments to it too, and it'll be updated on tomorrow on the website. And so that's a really brief document and a little bit more kind of fun. So I encourage you to look at that. It's on the cover of the front page of the website, and a really good document, and our first time to be able to submit that. So any questions on those two documents?
Great job.
All right, on to the regular report. Courts, I talked to you about this at the pre-council meeting. I think we've worked out with the county where the issue was. They had written us a check and it got lost in the mail, which has happened to us quite a bit in the last 2 or 3 years. So I anticipate next month will be completely current. Page 4, sales tax up mid-year $160,000 over this time last year, but still $152,000 below our forecasted budget. So right at almost, a break even. We're continuing to work on the 911 consolidation. We received $27K towards expenses related to that in June. Page 5, our streets is down another 12 days to 96 days in cash, and we're continuing to monitor that. We are also still on track for Bryant Parkway and continuing to wait from the state for the ANRC money for $3.5 million. So not a lot has changed on the monthly report from last month, but any questions on any of those items or anything in the report? All right.
Motion approved. Jack, make a motion.
Second. Mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Arbitrage.
All right, thank you. So this one I've been anxiously awaiting because we haven't been in a period where arbitrage would be a concern for several years, but we have in the last couple of years, and so I just wanted to make sure that everything was okay, especially since that 2016 bond issuance rocked on quite a bit longer than it was supposed to for a number of reasons. And I was just a little bit concerned, but we're okay. We do not owe any arbitrage money to the federal government. The report is included in your packet. I did want to make sure that one got out there to everybody. And does anybody have any questions on that report?
Motion to accept.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, resolution 2024-28, budget adjustments, a resolution to amend the city's budget for the period of January 1st, 2024 and ending December 31st, 2024.
So we went over these at the pre-council meeting as well. Some of them are reclasses. Some of it's cleanup work that I'm doing on streamlining the revenue flows for after the Tyler conversion. We've got a drainage grant that was received, and we're moving that money to spend on the Cambridge drainage project. Did anybody see anything they had any questions on?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Stuart. All right, next. Salt County Lacrosse.
Yeah, so you have a 5-year use agreement with Salt County Lacrosse before you. It is similar to what we did a few years ago with Bryant Athletic Association, Bryant Softball, and Central Arkansas Soccer going to a 5-year agreement. As they started to invest into the facilities as well, we wanted to give them some assurances. And so currently, this year, we operated under a 1-year agreement with Salt County Lacrosse. I can tell you that they have invested a ton of money in Alcoa Park, into a park that we're very invested in, but unfortunately don't have the budget currently for some of that, especially with Parkway opening. That's something that we're very focused on, is to try to give some attention back to that park and And Salt County Lacrosse has been a great partner. They've installed backstop netting, installed turf creases in the park there, volunteer hours. I mean, they, you know, when they decided to make that a game field, that adds to our workload. Now we're not just mowing it just to have an extra field out there for practice, but we have to have it game ready, and they put in a lot of their own time there, mowing, painting the field.
They also adopted the street, they care.
Absolutely, yeah. And so, yeah, so they're very invested there. Currently, they're applying for, with our support, applying for a grant to take that area that I think originally was supposed to be another softball field, that it never ended up becoming a softball field, and it's always just kind of been a little add-on area down there to make that practice fields, which does fit our master plan. The master plan has that being multi-use fields in the future, and so already they've invested the time in some dozer work down there to level that area, and now to try to get a grant to help us with the with some fencing and things like that. And then we're going to put forth the investment of trying to seed that area once it's leveled and get us some good grass growth there. So I don't think I have to say anything more. Y'all know how much they're doing and how great of a partner they've been. So I'm asking
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, we got Stillman Drainage Project Phase 1 and 2.
I am here to ask for permission to spend some money on some design work for Phase 1 of Stillman and Phase 2 of Stillman. There will be 3 phases, possibly 4 phases to this total project. We are applying for a hazard mitigation grant. Right now, the hopefully will know soon for the actual construction process. It'll be the typical one we get at the 80, 20, $300,000 max. Right now, we're focusing on 1 and 2. 1, we're asking for a do not exceed. We know we're going to run into gas complex, water complex, meters, gas meters. The ditch that is currently there is extremely shallow, and a schematic shows very large piping boxes that can go through there. So the estimated design work right now came in just about $45,000. It's going to be more than that by the time we figure out all the conflicts. Phase 2, there's actually been work done already on it, but it's about $26,000, and it's about that $11,000 more. It'll push us over that $35,000 mark, so I just want to make sure you guys are aware and that we can continue. And probably September, October, I'll come back with Phase 3 and possibly Phase 4.
Where's Phase 2 at?
There's a piece of Stillman that comes down in between the houses and the Justice League.
So do we have to do something to appropriate more funding so that you're not spending outside of your limit, or?
It's just all over that $35,000 mark that we've been asked to come back for and get approval from you guys to spend.
So have we've appropriated money for this already?
We have money for this. This was not in the budget.
Is this coming from the streets that Joey mentioned a minute ago?
Stormwater funds. And then
What was it?
stormwater funds. And then we
Stormwater?
have, I get it wrong, tell me. We have ARPA money and investment funds released in September. That will go towards the construction portion of it that we have to dedicate at the end of this year.
So how much have we appropriated for it already?
This is the 515, the stormwater capital. I would have to go back and look, and I can do that for you guys if you need me to pull up how much we spent. There is a chart through the end of last year in the budget book for everything spent out of that 515 line since we started in 2016.
We would be coming back when it comes to construction, because it'll be several $100,000.
Yeah.
This is just for the design work, that's all.
So I'd have to go back. I don't have it with me right now, but I can find out and give it to you guys.
So what exactly are you asking for
I'm
tonight?
asking for permission to spend the money over the $35,000 mark for the design one.
And how much is that gonna be?
The estimated for phase one comes in just shy of 45,000, but I would anticipate that design work being more because of the utility conflicts. And then phase two, the remainder on the design work is actually only a little over 11,000, but there's been 26,000 previously spent on it because it's been done kind of segmented portions. The 11,156 finishes that design, which pushes it over that 35. So phase two is really, I just want you guys to know we're going to be over that 35,000.
Do you know by how much?
Well, 26,000 we spent already, and we got to spend another 11,000, so.
So, yeah, just barely.
And it's not additional 45, you're just needing
No, no,
10.
So they'll be designed in two different phases.
Right.
So 11,000 extra for phase two, and at least 45,000 for the design of phase one.
So phase 2 was started first?
It was started years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
We did work like kind of in the middle, and then some work further down the road, and what we ran into is we couldn't get easements that we needed from certain residents.
okay.
And then, yeah, so what's there now is tiny, what's estimated there is to be a 42-inch pipe, so we need some real estate. And like I said, once the design's all done, I'll come back with construction costs, and what process will come through, and we'll know about the 80/20 grant prior to construction also. We do have 11 homes that are affected, 4 repetitive loss. We have 2 in this last rain that both got rain in their houses.
So you're asking for 56K in additional funds?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Motion is second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes.
I would like, before you leave, an update on finalizing the parkway and what's holding us back and anticipated when to open.
Yeah, I can take that. So we are working with the county and the school district right now on some improvements on Hill Farm Road to help with school traffic flow. When we should know some costs of that this week. Once we know the cost, we're lining everything up for that project. And when I know when that project's going to be done, I'll have a firm date on the parkway opening. We're just...
Could be a while, from what it sounds like.
Yeah, it could be. We're not sure yet. So, but once I know that, I'll come back to you with kind of where we are. I don't want to open that and then immediately there be construction on Hill Farm. I'd like to be way optimistic, but I'd like to be able to get that done and then just open the parkway and everything be ready. If we're not going to make that before school starts, I'll definitely let you know and kind of keep you updated.
Well, there's going to be a big concern, especially in our ward, with Show and the Parkway. The stop signs are great when the Parkway is going to be open, but I can tell you if Show or if the Parkway is not open with those stop signs, y'all traffic is going to be 10 times worse. So if it's not going to be open, I think we should, this is my own personal opinion, cover those up, especially when school starts, something, because it's going to make, we'll back traffic all the way down to Mills and back to Reynolds if we don't do something.
And residents in our ward, they'll take them 45 minutes to get over there to the junior high. That's just to get there. Then they got to get back out to the interstate.
Once the parkway is open, it's going to be fine, but everybody takes Mills and takes a right and gets down on the interstate, and when school opens is when the problem's going to be.
So I have a question. How impactful are the Hill Farm improvements going to be on the parkway? I mean, what kind of, is it going to be a cut-in or is it, I mean?
It's basically to help with that school traffic that's, it's coming down the parkway, some turning left into the junior high, others coming down Reynolds, turning right into the elementary, all of that flow. So yeah, they're cutting in, there's some curb cuts, but right now the county's doing some of the work. Ted, if you want to.
I thought the last meeting we were told that the school was kicking in some money or something.
The school's paying for it.
Yeah.
But we're kind of managing the project with the help of the county.
Not many people realize that that section of Hill Farm is a county road. It was made to service the airport, and it still remains to be a county road. So any work that needs to be done on it needs to be done with the approval of the county. And there was an access agreement that allowed the school to do median breaks on that. And so with the parkway coming through, we just felt like the mayor said, it was a good opportunity to get those cuts put in. It will reduce stacking for the school. It will put more of the stacking on the school's property as opposed to out into the Hill Farm, which, as you guys know, when there wasn't a parkway, Hill Farm was the stack for the junior. So we think it's best if we get these in before they dump all the traffic into the parkway.
And this project the design for this started.
It actually started when I was here last time.
Yeah.
And it was something like we put it, it was the county, the city, and the school. The school's funding it. The county's doing their part since it's a county road. The city's part of it is we wanted to be sure that the design worked, so we flipped in for the design, and then it's going to be orchestrated all together with us helping manage doing the construction at the same time that the county's taking care of it.
The county's already started some of the cutting the roads and doing some of the demo work and getting it ready. We're working on lining up a concrete curb.
Yes, curb and
gutter contractor. We're trying to line it up and get it done. But if after this we realize there's no way that we can get this done before school starts, we'll come to you and talk about that. But that's our goal, is try to get it done before school starts so when we open it, it's ready.
School's only, what, 3 weeks
August
away?
19th is when the school, our target's to try to have that done before school opens on August 19th.
We just don't know tonight.
Yeah,
I have enough information tonight on.
Jason, your concerns are very legit. I think with those stop signs the way they are, they will back up. Hopefully we'll beat that, and then most of that traffic will continue on the parkway.
I'm begging you, if we don't get it done, can we at least, until we get that done, cover them up something, because it will, we'll back up the whole week, first week of school, and it will not be pretty.
And if you guys always know is that first 2 to 3 weeks of school, logistics always go crazy to get it figured out, everything. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to do it twice.
Right.
We don't want to make those changes and then come back again, and then the logistics go crazy, and then we spend another 2 or 3 weeks. So that, we're trying real hard to get it done in time.
Everybody's working really hard to.
I find this as being a great problem, really, actually, because the parkway's going to be done, and it's going to make things better. I point back to the fact that the original parks model says anywhere from 25% to 33% is going to bypass Reynolds and go down Parkway. So commuter traffic should improve. So it's a problem. We recognize it. It's a good problem.
The other thing that I had to ask was, last month I asked about at the Ray Mar overpass, and I was told there was going to be a 4-way stop put in there. I hope I was understood right and that's true, but I want to make sure that is, in fact.
I can't speak to that, other than the fact that I know RDOT has looked at like a 2040 improvement, which improves all of the off-ramps and on-ramps, including the one at 4 Ray Mar Road, which will be Parkway. And they have Troach Lane in there, and they had other, parts that they had improvements. They even called for a roundabout there at one point. So I don't know if that's gonna happen, but, I mean, that's kind of an RDOT issue there. So,
Traffic stacks up off of Raymar now, so
turning left, yeah.
It'll be a city issue. People
Yeah.
won't
you
care if
can't
it's
turn
RDOT
right
or not.
unless you wanna go to Little Rock, so.
I understand.
Hey Ted, there's a real good picture of the Parkway in this budget book on page
Yes, sir.
91,
Mm-hmm.
just in case you hadn't seen it yet.
Yep. Like I said, still playing a little catch up, but I'll try to answer anything else you guys.
We'll keep you in the loop. And as soon as we know, you'll know. Any council comments? All right, I've got a few. You asked us to, you approved the Wildan studies. You asked us for numbers on those. They did come back. The impact fee study is $34,160. And then the rate study is $29,740. So those are already in the budget and you approved them, but you asked us to let you know what those numbers were. Take a look, make sure if you can, fill out the survey that's out there for the rate study. Please share that as much as you can. We're trying to get as much input from the community on that rate study. August 6th, the Water Wastewater Advisory Committee will have the Water Master Plan presentation. So we're inviting you to that. We'd like to see that presentation there. If there aren't any questions and you feel good about it, we'll bring it to you at council at the end of August. But if you're not, if there's other questions, we'll have a workshop and do whatever we can to make sure you feel comfortable with it before we bring it to council. Also, we'd like to move the August 20th, isn't that the Tuesday before next council? That noon workshop, we'd like to move it to a 6 p.m. workshop so more folks can attend. We've got a couple things we want to talk about, a ladder truck, and then some of the Amendment 78 things we're looking at, pool pack, potential lights, parking lot lights at Bishop, and some vehicle stuff. So we feel like it'd be better just to move that one up tonight if it's okay with you all. And then Nicole Manley, Professional of the Year. Finance Officer, Professional of the Year. All right, well, that's all my comments. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed.